Today at Manchester Theatres, I am with the fabulous Claire Perkins, who is going to be touring with the highly anticipated new play, Player Kings. It takes Shakespeare's Henry IV, Part 1 and 2, and puts them together. And this has been adapted and is going to be directed by the fabulous Robert Icke. Now, Claire is a much sought after actress in stage, screen, and radio. You might have seen her in shows such as EastEnders, Professor T, The Crown, The Outlaws. On stage, you might have seen her in The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, Sweat, or Amelia. Or you might currently be listening to her in BBC Radio 4's flagship show, The Archers, where she is playing Denise. But Player Kings is coming to us, the Manchester Opera House, from the 14th of March. So we do not have long to wait, and I'm very excited. So thank you so much for joining us today, Claire.
No problem. Hi.
Hi.
Nice to be here.
So, Player Kings, we've got this Shakespeare's part, the two plays put together of Henry IV, and basically, what is your play, Player Kings? What's it going to be about? What's it going to be like?
So, Player Kings, it is the story. It is the two plays put together and adapted by Rob. But yeah, basically, it's the story of a prince and a king. So you have a king who has in some ways taken the crown. Someone else was due to be king, but he was made king. His son Hal is the Prince of Wales, and he's not behaving himself at the start of the play. He's frequenting parts of East London called Eastcheap. And he's frequenting a certain tavern called the Boar's Head Tavern, which is my pub. I play Mistress quickly in the play. And yeah, so it's kind of the story. It's a story of England. It's a story of a father and a son. It's a story of politics. It's a story of life. It's a story of a young man growing up.
So with the adaptation, when we say it's adapted, is that because there's just these two big, huge plays, so it's had to be adapted? Or does it mean with the language, is it going to be in Shakespearean language style? Is it going to be modern?
Yeah, no, it's in Shakespearean language style. Yeah, it's all the language has been kept. I think, I'm saying I think, because I don't know, that it was a project that Rob wanted to do. Yeah. And so, he obviously likes both stories and has adapted them into one. But yeah, the language is beautiful. The language is lovely. I'm always a bit like, I'm not sure if I want to do Shakespeare. Because, sometimes you go to see Shakespeare and you're like, okay, I got that bit. And then for half an hour, you're like, I don't understand what they just said. I don't know what's going on. But, we've got Sir Ian McKellen in the cast. And everything he says during rehearsals, we're like, oh my God, he makes it just sound so easy and so accessible, and you understand everything that he says. So he's a real inspiration in terms of the language. And Rob is very patient and thorough, so that we spent a lot of time discussing what we were saying in rehearsals amongst ourselves, and no one says anything on stage without knowing exactly what they're saying, which obviously helps in terms of the people receiving it and listening to it. So yeah, when I'm off stage and I'm listening to people that are on stage, it's funny with Shakespeare because the language just gets more beautiful.
Yeah,
it's such a it's a kind of complex but simple poetical way of saying things. But yeah, sometimes there's just so much more meaning in those words. I mean, maybe people will think that about the way we speak in 100 years' time. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah.
It is beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't understand some of the young people I teach sometimes with all the new language they've got. So
yeah. It's funny though, because there are a few things in there. There's one where somebody says, I wish this tavern were my drum, meaning my home. And when I was at school, people used to say that about their home, about, who's coming around my drum? Or let's go around. So, some of that language, it's funny how it filters down, and some of it is still around today. Yeah.
So you've said you play Mistress quickly. So she likes a bit of a flirty innuendo. She's got a few dodgy pals. So tell us a little bit about her.
Yeah, so Mistress quickly owns and runs the Boar's Head Tavern. She's a widow. She it's not quite clear whether the tavern is a brothel as well. I think she would deny that it was a bawdy house. That sort of thing does go on in there. I think it's a place that is frequented by thieves and lowlifes, but I think obviously we've set it so there is a kind of like a private upstairs room, and that's where a lot of the action takes place, with the pub downstairs. So she has her private patrons upstairs and Joe Public downstairs. Yeah, she's a woman who's looking for love. Probably when she's looking at Falstaff, she's looking in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a strong woman. She runs the tavern. She's got to be. She likes a party. That's what I'll say about Mistress quickly.
Well, she's actually in 3 of Shakespeare's plays, isn't she, as well? So loads of kind of scope for you there. Yeah. So she is. Is it the Merry
Wives of Windsor? Yeah, I haven't read that. So, and when I was learning my lines and doing stuff, I think I saw a couple of the scenes from there. But she seems like a less abrasive character in the Merry Wives of Windsor. Yeah.
Yeah, because she just kind of she craves like respectability, really, doesn't she, a little bit? And she just wants love, and like you've said, but as you've kind of said, when she's hanging around with the likes of Falstaff, I mean, is she ever going to get it?
Is she ever going to get it? Who knows? But yeah, I think no. It's funny because the last play that I did, The Wife of Willesden, was set in a pub. Most of my scenes in this play are in a pub, and I did a short film called Hard Times not so long ago, where I am the landlady of a pub. So I'm like, it's becoming a bit of a theme, the pubs. Yeah, it's good characters though.
And so, of course, you have already mentioned Sir Ian McKellen. He's coming back for us, one of our own, a national treasure, on home turf in Manchester. Yeah. The whole cast, to be fair, is just an impressive cast. But are you walking into a room kind of just going, what, how?
Yeah, but he's so lovely that, obviously he's just another member of the cast, but then he's got such presence, and he's a beautiful, sweet, lovely human being. So, he immediately puts you at your ease, and and he's just 100% into rehearsals. I mean, it sounds funny saying that because most actors are, but no, I know, maybe he's 1,000% into rehearsals. Yeah, he's great in rehearsals. He never seems to get tired, or he's always happy to go through the lines, and always coming up with something different. And he's very, very funny. Yeah, there'll be bits you're like, oh, I didn't even realize that bit was funny. And it's funny, and then when you hear the audience reacting to him as well, it's it's a total joy. Joy.
I can imagine. So this play, the blurby bit when it kind of tells you what it's about on like the press and marketing, stuff like that. And I'm paraphrasing here because I might get it wrong, but it says something like a country divided, leadership crumbling, and corruption in the air, something like that. And I was reading that and I was thinking, is that now, or is
that today? Yeah, is that us? Yeah, right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarity, isn't there, so to speak, with some of it?
Yeah, definitely, there really is. It's I suppose it just goes to show, we say politics, but politics really is just life, isn't it? It's not this big thing. It's not the machine of government is not politics. I think politics is what happens in our everyday lives. And so, we have these big themes that go round and round again. We have people questioning power. Who's in power? Should they be in power? How did they get into power? How do they maintain their hold upon power? Do the smaller people in the world want them in power? So, we've got all of these big questions going on every day, which I think is that's what theatre's really good for. That, you go to see a play, and sometimes there are resonances either in your personal life or in the world at large or the world around you. So it helps us sometimes put things into perspective, or gives us another way of thinking about things, a fresh, injection of a fresh perspective on what's happening in the world today. Yeah,
it does. And it kind of often allows you to see yourself and see different ideas and solutions, and just kind of go, oh, okay, so I'm not the only one thinking like that. It connects,
Yeah.
doesn't it? It allows you to connect.
Yeah. I mean, even in this one, with the fact that the king, someone else was supposed to be made king, and then he was made king, and now his son's going to be king. So, you know, and you look back through English history, you know, with people that go, England. And then, like, you look back through the history. I mean, our royal family is German, you know. And then you go back before that, you got the Stuarts and the Plantagenets, and you got, you know, you got all the different, that's all different factions. That's all different people vying to be to be king or queen or be a royal family. And I don't know, we have this old idea that the royals are ordained by God, and they're not. It's just another form of politics. They've just managed to hold on to the crown jewels. They're just the latest family that have managed to hold on to the crown jewels for 100 years. Because if you go back before them, you know, like I said, with the Stuarts and whoever, it's not the Windsors.
Yeah,
so,
no, it's not.
Yeah,
it's
and
not.
so that kind of thing is also, and you know, when young people come to see, it could stir questions in their mind. Well, where did our king come from, and where did, you know, and who was there before them? So, yeah, theatre is often a good way of understanding history, understanding life, understanding the world.
It is. It really is. And there's so much to be proud of and excited about with this play. I know, particularly around Manchester, there's such a buzz in the air for it. What
Amazing.
are you looking forward to kind of sharing with it about, well, with this show?
At the moment, because we're still in previews, and Rob, he works quite differently from the way I've worked before. So we are still rehearsing every day. So it's really lovely to know that, to hear audiences every night really enjoying this show, to know that we've got something good, but to know that, like, every day it's getting better and reshaping itself. And so that's it's lovely to have this ongoing process, and to bring it before an audience every night. It means we never get tired, we never get jaded, we're always up for it. I mean, which actors are anyway, but there's just that little bit extra. And also, it's Shakespeare, and it's long. And I think in these days of TikTok videos and people, you know, every minute, I watch people in my family who, you know, you're watching TV and then people pick up their phone. So they're concentrating on the phone and they're concentrating on the TV. So I think to have something where I can hear the audience are focused and watching and engaged for over 3.5 hours. And to me, in this world, that is a beautiful thing, because we're all losing our ability to focus. So, you know, and also live storytelling. Yeah, it's great. I just think it's really good for us. It feeds our food feeds our physical bodies, and something like this feeds our metaphysical bodies and our souls. So
it's going to be brilliant. Honestly, I'm so excited for this one. And as we've said, you can catch it at the Manchester Opera House from the 14th of March. Grab your tickets, because I can guarantee they are going to go for this one. Claire, thank you so much for talking to us. I know you've got to shoot straight back to rehearsals that you've just been talking about. So I really appreciate you finding the time to chat with us today. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, and all the best.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.